Alright, this video is to give you a short demo on the math apps that you have on your iPads here at Worth County Primary School. Now, I found 14 apps on your iPad, and I've got them all here. If you want to pause the video and try to find all 14 so you can organize those next to each other. Okay. To organize those or move the apps, whoops, excuse me, you press and hold the app. The apps will start to shake. You can then move the app wherever you want it. That way you can have one page of just math apps. So you can easily access those as we go through the video. To stop the apps from shaking, just click the home button. Alright, so let's go through these quickly since there are so many. First of all, there are two apps that are entitled Number Pieces. And these are the old-fashioned base 10 blocks we used to, that you probably have still around as manipulatives, just turned into a digital image. The one that has the red, the green, and the blue pieces is the most basic one. When you open it, you'll see like a whiteboard. You'll see your three place values here represented. This app will help give students a deeper understanding of place value and even practice with computation. They can represent numbers with these. They can regroup, add, subtract, multiply, divide, and there's also a drawing tool to label and show their understanding. Just a basic explanation is you have your three place values here represented. To get one, you just touch it. Notice that when I add one, the one that I just added has this blue kind of a shadow around the edge. That's the one that's engaged at the time. And you can easily manipulate these around the page just by touching and moving. Okay, I just copied. Alright. And when the blue shadow is around there, that's how you move those. Okay. You also have a writing option here. You can touch whichever color you want and write on the page. The eraser is just below. There's another way to erase. At the very bottom, you have this little circular undo button here, and it says you want to start over. You can tell it yes, and it will automatically start the whole process over. Give you a fresh, clean sheet. Okay, so let's look at some other features that this app has. At the bottom, you'll notice I added a piece, and it has these two boxes with arrows. Okay, when you touch that one time, it separates that box. Now it's separated it into pieces. If I touch it again, it separates it again into ones. Okay, the box that has the two squares together, that's putting them back together. You touch it, it goes backwards and then back to one whole piece. Okay, you have different colors down here you could change up. You can manipulate the orientation by clicking this. That way it'll turn it sideways. There's a trash can, if you want to get rid of that piece, you can get rid of that piece. I can't move these today for some reason. Okay, if you draw a circle on the board around these two items, it highlights both items. So now you can move those together. Okay. Alrighty. So that is the first number pieces. Alright, and then the second one is it works exactly the same, except the pieces are all the same color. And then you have an additional tool here, okay, that would let you create arrays, okay, which is just a little more, it takes this app to another step further than the previous app, okay, but everything else works the same. Alright, so then the next two apps are similar. We have Math Slide 100 and Math Slide 1000. Of course, Math Slide 100, your focus is on place value of 1s and 10s and numbers to 100. Place value 1000, of course, you're talking about place value, your hundreds, 10s, and 1s, and numbers up to 1000. And kids that are fluent in 10s and 1s and numbers to 100 then should be able to use the Slide 1000. Okay? If you open one of these apps here, okay, you'll see that there's multiple games. You can start with game 1, and the games get harder as they go along. Now what you can do is you can have up to 4 players. All a player needs to do is touch join to jump in on the game. So if you can have 4 kids playing at one time. All of them join the game. You click start, and in the middle they'll give you a number, and the student has to represent that number with a card from their stack. I know it's hard to see on this video, but if you're looking at your iPad, you can see there's a hand here that has 5, so I can click that there. Okay, the first person to represent that number gets the point. So here's the number 6, and if I look down in my choices, I have a hand showing 6 fingers. Okay, and this just goes on, and each game gets harder and harder. Now if you look at Slide 1000, it works the same way, just a little more, just higher place value in numbers. So if I click on game 1 and I have 4 people playing, they all click join. You can do one player for all that matter, 1 or 2, whatever. Click start. Now this is different. They have cards that have numbers on them, and then the middle will be represented by a model. Okay, like this is 125, so I will look for a 125. This person has the card. They drop it in. First person to drop the card in gets the point, and then it automatically moves to the next. Okay, now these little, let me get down here so you can see. These little corners with bars, when you click those, that tells you can end the game or continue, but that ends the game in case you need to swap out and let some different students play those games. Okay, so that's Math Slide 100, Math Slide 1000. Now moving on to Math for Kids. This is 4+. There is a Math for Kids 6+, 8+, 10+. I'm not sure if there's a fee or not involved to purchase those apps. This is basic math, verbal with images. For example, let me open this and show you. You have choices here. On the left-hand side, I know it's hard to see on the video, but you have your iPad in front of you. It says teach figures, exercise figures, tap the biggest, tap the smallest, counting objects, and exercise quantity. Okay, so if you tap the figures, you can just review
0, 1, 2,
and so on. And then the top left corner, there's a little arrow that will take you back. Okay.
4.
So then the next one, the exercise, it gives you the a speaker here
4,
that you can repeat it if you need to, and you touch the number
7,
that you hear.
9,
Okay. And it's just asking me, do you want to terminate this exercise? And I said yes. Anytime you go back and you're not finished, it will ask you that. This one is tap the biggest, and this is tap the smallest. Of course, the same thing's going to happen. It will say, it'll give you multiple numbers. You can tap the biggest or tap the smallest. And then there's a counting objects and exercising. So this is a good way for kids to practice number skills. They have a picture here. There's 6 items, and they would touch 6. Okay, and of course I'm going to click back, and it's giving me a warning that says, would you like to stop this exercise? You need to say yes. Okay, all right, the next app is Mrs. Owl's counting 1 to 10, and that's what they're going to be doing. It's very straightforward. Okay, you're counting along. It's in order. They count when they touch. There's a start button just like on the other Mrs. Owl.
Let's count.
There is no option. There's only one option of the music. Just click start.
Let's count along.
And what they're going to do is touch and count. They touch the object.
1.
It becomes brighter.
Pencil.
And again, she's saying a vocabulary word as well.
1, 2. 2. Flowers.
Okay. So when they finish, right up in the top left corner, there's a little house. And that will take you home if you need to switch it to another student. And then they can start counting. Okay. The next thing we have here is a number rack. And this is where they can develop a sense of numbers. You can move the beads around. You can move one bead at a time. You can move multiple beads at a time. Okay. And at the bottom, there's a start over. Okay. That's the left circular thing. There is a plus and minus sign here. If you touch the plus sign, it's going to give you another set of beads. If you touch the minus sign, it'll take beads away. Okay, then there's this other little box here, and this gives you a shade. Okay, so if you want to cover some of the beads, you can do that, and you can uncover if you wanted to work on counting or adding, subtracting, moving groups around. Okay, and if you touch that same box that now has an X in it, that shade will go away. Okay, so that's a number rack. Another app would be a cookie factory, chocolate chip cookie factory. And here you got to ship and deliver some cookies. And of course, this is working on place value. So instead of using the place value cubes, this is going to use cookies. Okay, so all you'll have to do is click on game at the bottom, and you see you have choices. You can have counting or adding, level 1, level 2. Okay, I'm just going to leave it on that. There's some options: background music, turn the timer off. You can turn the timer off, put it in practice mode to turn the timer off, or leave the timer on, which will make it more challenging for the students and help their fluency. You click play. It looks like this. It has cool music I like. In the top left corner, the order is for 5 cookies. The cookies here represent 1s. The stack of cookies here represent 10s. And of course the box is 100. So I need 5 cookies. So I would just tap. I'm not tapping. Okay, and you can see that order went away. You see there's a timer running here. The faster you do it, the more points you get. Alright, so we've got an order for 5 cookies. It shows you what you're on here. Okay, and the order's automatically changed and it keeps going. Okay, you can pause this if you need, the student needs to go to the restroom or go to lunch or change class, and then he'll come back and finish. And then they just click play again. And it will start back. You click the back button here, will take you back to this. And again, level 1 and 2, the 2 is just a little more challenging. And the second one is adding. It'll show you an addition problem. You have to choose the answer. Okay? And that's the Cookie Factory. That's place value. Alright, so the next one is Splash Math. This one has 13 chapters and 200 plus math skills are covered. You choose a chapter, or you can choose multiple, and you can earn points. There's a practice mode, and there's you can choose a chapter like that. This is asking me, do you want a push notification? I'm going to say don't allow. Okay. And this app runs vertically, so I'm going to have to turn my iPad around. Okay. You can see here where it says practice. You click that, and you can choose whatever you want. I chose place value. Then I choose, do I want ones, tens, do I want hundreds, or a mixed review?
Which number is represented by the base 10 blocks?
So that's given in words as well as read to the student. And they give you a model, and then they choose the right answer.
Yahoo!
Select the digit
And it'll
in
let
the
them know if
tens
it's right or
place.
wrong. Okay? And at the bottom, there's a back button that would take you all the way back. Okay? And of course, I've placed my name in here. There's an option to put in names. You can just put in your name or number or whatever. You click Math Facts. You can do addition, subtraction, or you can decide what you want. You can work on your whatever math facts you want. You can change the number of questions, the range of numbers, and that way you can set that all up. Okay? Now in the bottom left corner, you can see where there's a little tool that says Parent. If you click that, that's like your settings. This will give you results. So if you have a student working on something, of course, you can't see this on the video, but I can see 8168, so I'll put that in. They give you a code that you could read. Probably students would not. And then you can change how you want the problems to show. And at the bottom, you actually can get some results. If I click on Summary, it shows me how many questions were answered. And that's hard to see on here. Anyway, it gives you information on how the student performed. Okay, when you're finished, because it says at the top, the student's name and summary. When you're done, you click Done. And you could change the student's names as you go. Okay, so that's math. That's Splash Math, grade 2, Splash Math. Okay, let me turn my iPad back around. Okay, now moving on, we've got, again, more math practice. This is mental math cards. You can choose whatever you want. Now, if the Game Center comes up, some apps come through the Game Center, you just click Cancel. We don't want to access the Game Center. You can choose whatever math operation you want, if it's easy, and practice, and then it goes through and it gives them a math problem, and they put in the answer and press enter, and it tells if it's right or wrong, and they keep going. And it's timed. Okay, so that's math, mental math, those math cards. Okay. All right, more basic math skills here. Okay, you choose which math operation you want. You can go into settings here, and you can decide which operation you want at the top. You can choose if you want all of these as your add-ins. You can have the timer on, and you can choose the number of problems at the bottom. And then back will take you back, and then you just choose the one you want. It says just click OK. Okay, and then they'll put their answer in, and then click the green Go button. Okay, and that is math cards. Okay, So we've got math cars. Next is math splash. Again, more math skills. If you have something like this pop up, there's a little X in the top right corner. Just click that. These are ads. Sometimes come with free games. This is Math Splash Bingo. You click play. I put my initial in here. You can do however you want. Again, choose your operation. Okay, you click start, and it's going to give a math problem at the top. It's like bingo. To choose the answer. If it's not right, it's not going to give them the answer. Okay, and it tells them down here 2 plus 1 is 3. Oh, okay. Okay. Now another thing in the top right corner, the music note, you can change the music to a different style, and then you can have no music at all. Okay? That's Math Splash Bingo. Okay? Then we have math words. That's math word problems. Okay? You can set what you want here. This says adding and easy. The wheel allows you to change the operation, and then you just click on the page and you can read the question here. Okay, here's the question. They choose an answer and they check their answer, and it'll say right or wrong, and then they just go to the next question. Okay, and that is math words. And if you have something to show, again, a pop-up comes up, you click X. Okay, and then the last math app here is Math Filler, and you're actually filling the blank spots with some numbers. Okay, and in this free app, you only have adding and subtracting available. The rest are gray. So I will choose one of those, start with the first level, and here I have 5. Now they've highlighted at the bottom the 2 numbers I need. I can slide and fill the blanks with numbers. Okay? And right here this says correct, done with problem 1. You can either do next problem, back, or close. Let's do next problem, and you can see that it mixes it up. So I say, okay, 5 would go here and 7 is here. They have the, and you just keep going through. Okay? And now you have multiple problems. Okay? And that, this is the back arrow here, and it says, do you want to abandon these problems? Yes. And you're here. Now this little thing in the corner is when one student finishes, you click this, and it says you really want to reset the problem set, so you say yes. That way another student can do the same type of problems. And this tells you what math operation you're in, and this arrow will take you back to that original screen. Again, adding and subtracting in this free app. Alright, so those are your 14 math apps. And if you'd like to organize those on one page, you just press and hold. They start to shake. You can move them however you want. You can even put them in a folder together and then name that folder. Whatever you want. So now you have a folder here, and I can just start dropping in all of these apps into this folder. And with the new iOS 7, you can put as many apps in one folder as you want. Used to, before iOS 7, you'd have to have, it would only hold so many apps in a folder. And I'll show you what that looks like. Be careful not to click the X, because that's your delete button. Okay, and then click home to stop shaking. So when I click on this, here's my math apps, and because there's more than 9, you slide, and as you add, there'll be multiple pages inside the folder. And that's your math apps. Email me at chaskins@workschools.net for more questions.